our first game we have up on the card tonight is the Sacramento Kings at Golden State. Warriors are laying 7.5 points, totals at 236, tip off at 8 Eastern. Look, the Warriors are trying to close this out. Golden State's been dominant at home, 40, 17, and 1 against the spread at home. Sacramento's been that great story, but they're young. They're a high-powered offense. Unfortunately, the confidence might be closing out for for the Sacramento team that's lost 3 straight against the Warriors. Bryan, do the Warriors close it out and get it done in Game 6 on their home court?
Well, Megan, I thought Game 3 was the real tipping point in this series, obviously. The Warriors, they go into that game without Draymond Green, down 0-2 in the series. They were actually plus 170 to win the series at the time. A massive sea change after climbing as high as minus 300 before the series began. And that was a really historic number for the odds makers coming in. No team seeded 6 or lower had ever been more than a 2-1 favorite to win a first-round playoff series going all the way back to 1990. So things have really switched because obviously, as you mentioned, the Kings win Game 3. The Warriors win Game 3. They win Game 5. I had said going into Game 3 maybe to exercise caution with the Warriors because the efficiency numbers when Green, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson weren't all on the court together were pretty bad. But lo and behold, here they are, as you pointed out, chance to eliminate Sacramento on their home floor. Now, I'm not really interested in laying this many points against a team facing elimination, but Golden State's home road dichotomy is tough to ignore, as we all know. 35-8 straight up, 29-14 against the number at the Chase Center. And they do allow 10.5 points per game fewer at home than on the road. So I'm thinking, all right, maybe the under, but not after a game where both of these teams shoot sub 30% from three. Megan, as you know, these teams could shoot the lights out. So one or maybe even both are probably due for a bounce back night. So this is what I'm looking at. How about the under 37.5 on Sabonis? His points, rebounds, and assist total has not cleared this number any of the first 5 games in the series, guys. In 2 games here at Golden State, he scored just 14 and 15. Did have a series high 16 rebounds in Game 3 and a series high 8 assists in Game 4, but I don't see him hitting either of those numbers tonight. He's not a guy you have to worry about hitting threes. That hasn't hit one in the series. And 4 of the 5 games, he's attempted 4 free throws or fewer, so he's not getting those extra points from the charity stripe. So I would look at Sabonis, 37.5 under points, rebounds, and assists if you're interested in playing this Game 6 tonight.
Speaking of lights out, how about Game 6 Klay? Klay Thompson is known to go off in Game 6. He shoots nearly 50% from 3 in Game 6. He brings the energy. He lights it up. Andy Lang, when I'm looking at player props, I can't help but eye Klay Thompson here. Is there something that you're eyeing specifically in this one?
Yeah, I really like the Sabonis look that Bryan gave out. I think we have to just buy into Kevon Looney over his rebounds. They said at 12.5, and it's a little bit juicy, but you got to take it anyways. I mean, he's just the one guy that Sacramento cannot keep off the boards, and Golden State now knows that, so he's just planting up by the rim and grabbing pretty much every rebound. They don't even need to crash the boards when he's in there, so I like Looney over that. Klay Thompson, I haven't had much success betting on Klay Thompson this year. So my personal rule is I pass on Klay Thompson, but that's just a me thing. I would look at Draymond Green over his assists and rebounds. They have it at 13.5. He had a big game shooting and scored 21 points. I'm a little worried about that. I believe he was 8 for 10 from the field. That's very unlike Draymond to shoot 80% from the field. So I think we see some regression there. I would be worried about taking a Draymond prop that involved the points. I actually do really like the team total of the Sacramento Kings, though. It's at 113.5. They've gone over this total in every game except one. That was when they had the clunker where they scored only 97 points. But they've been putting up big numbers. I think this game is close. The Sacramento Kings is never going to give up. They're going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming, as we've seen in these elimination games, and anything can happen. The finger doesn't worry me for De'Aaron Fox. I still don't trust this Golden State defense right now. I think Sacramento fights till the end. It would not surprise me if they won, but I think this is a back and forth. I think there's a lot of points, and give me Sacramento over 113.5 on their team total.
That almost feels like a lock, Andy. Sacramento, one thing's for sure, they score points. This is the top offense in the league. Coach of the year, Mike Brown, a really successful story for Sacramento. Tony Mejia, will it be enough, though, Sacramento's high-powered offense to stop the defending champs, the Golden State Warriors, tonight?
I think they got to get off to a good start. That's going to be the key for Sacramento to hang around the entire game. I mean, they've done it the entire series in terms of giving themselves a chance to win. Had a Harrison Barnes clean look to give them a 3-1 lead in San Francisco the last time they stepped into Oracle, and he missed. It was online, just short. And then Game 5 was there for both teams. I think experience went out in terms of the Warriors being able to execute down the stretch and give themselves the 3-2 lead. But certainly the Kings haven't shrunk in this series. Two things, two keys. De'Aaron Fox shot 9 for 25. So I think the finger did hurt him a little bit in terms of his efficiency. And the other is, can the Warriors limit turnovers? Because that's been the Achilles heel all season long. They've proven that they can stop them on a Sabonis inside. They've proven that they've done a really nice job on the offensive glass to give themselves second chances. So I think that the Warriors will have an opportunity to pull away in the second half, especially once this late arriving crowd really gets into their seats. And that's why I think Sacramento needs to get off to a good start. This is a 5 p.m. local start. Diehard Warriors fans are going to have to play a little hooky from work or leave early there in Silicon Valley to make it into San Francisco and into their seats by the time tip-off arrives. So maybe there's a window there for the Kings to really play from ahead and from a comfort zone early on. I think that's going to be the key to it for a young team. The other factor that I'm looking for, I'll share at the end of the show as my best bet.
Yeah, I think Warriors fans might need to bring that coffin a little bit early in their workday if they want to make it in time for the 5 p.m. tip-off local time. De'Aaron Fox is the talk right now. What's he going to do? Sean Evans in the YouTube live comment says take his over points and assists at 33.5. And De'Aaron Fox has averaged 30 points this postseason, 7.5 assists. The finger could be an issue. Steve Merril, are you eyeing specifically a player in this matchup, or should we be looking from the side's total perspective?
Well, I think De'Aaron Fox is definitely interesting to talk about. I mean, there's two ways to look at it. It's his second game with the brace on the left index finger, and he fractured the tip of it late in game 4. So maybe he's more comfortable playing that way. But as Tony mentioned, his numbers were slightly down from the rest of the series. He had a solid 24 points, but he was averaging 31.5 coming in after the first 4 games. And the thing I look at is shooting percentage. And it was the first time he shot below 41% in any of the 5 playoff games. He had been high to mid 40s in all 4 games, shot just 36%. And he was also just 3 for 10 from 3, 30% versus 36, 33, and 50% in 3 of the other 4 games. So I do think it was bothering him. Whether it continues to bother him, we'll see. He's also on the road now. And as we pointed out, Golden State's had one of the most extreme home road dichotomies in NBA history in recent years. And what I keep pointing out, you would think it's a team that relies heavily on the 3. You would think it's the 3-point shooting that's not as good on the road. It's slightly weaker by a couple points, a couple percentage points. That's the norm for most NBA teams. What's been drastic, and the reason their home road dichotomy split record is so drastic, has been defense. For whatever reason, Golden State is much better defensively at home this year. I think a lot of that is focus on the road. They did pick it up down the stretch in April. They won 4 out of their final 5 road games. But at home, even in the regular season, let alone a big playoff game, their defense has been much better. So, obviously I'm not in a hurry to play unders with the Sacramento Kings or team totals because, as you said, Megan, they're all offense, no defense. But that is why Golden State's been better as a home team. And by the way, straight up 74% chance they win this game tonight as a 7.5 point favorite. 66% chance the Lakers win as a 4.5 point favorite, which means there's a 49% chance, almost 50-50, that both favorites win tonight and we do not get a game 7. I think Golden State closes this series. You could definitely make an argument it's a high spread because, once again, this was the scenario in game 4. They were coming off the game 3 win. They got the win, but not the cover by just 1. And I really think that's when the series got away from Sacramento. Had a chance to go back home 2-2. Instead, they go back, had a chance to go back 3-1. Instead, they go back just 2-2. They lose game 5, of course. And now I think they know where they're up against it. By the way, teams that lose 3 straight in the playoffs have been a long-term play against for decades. A lot of that's because 0-3 teams normally get swept, but even teams that lose 3 straight after winning a game have been a negative expectation play. So the line is big, but I think it's big for a reason tonight.
That's a good point on teams losing 3 in a row. The Warriors will try to continue that, make it 4, and send this series over, head over to round 2. Warriors, Kings, tip-off 8 Eastern.